What's happening, everybody? All right, so last time we checked out the global styles and talked a little bit about that, headers and buttons and how to style those things across your website. Today we are going to get into a little bit of the page design, starting with the home page and looking at the what we call the hero section as designers. So without further ado, let's get started with that. Sorry, it's a little dark in my room right now, in my office. We have no power, so hopefully the website will work on 4G. So we'll see. Might get a little crazy, or the power might just kick on any minute. So yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, so let's get into this. So if we go to the website right now, let's check it out. Is that it? Yeah. So this is the home page. It obviously has our global header that we've designed, and we said go on every single page. And then it has this sort of archives page, which we don't want. So what we're going to do is start building out a home page. And to do that, we're going to go to pages. And you can see all the pages here. There isn't a home page yet. And so what we're going to do is just say add new. And then we'll name this one home, because that's what it is. And then what we'll want to do is we can hit edit with Elementor and it'll save the page. There we go. You can kind of see that it's pretty much a blank page. There is a title here, home. And so in order to hide that, what we're going to do is go to this very bottom cog on the lower left-hand corner and say hide title. So now we don't have the title in there, and we really just have a blank slate minus the header here. And this is also a new feature in Elementor where you can actually click here and edit the header, the global header for the whole site, at least, well, for the pages that you say that you filter it for, right here. So that's kind of cool. I kind of not a big fan of it. I like to keep that separate just because it's kind of like if I accidentally click that, then it gets all weird. Anyways, so what I'm going to do is build out this hero section. So when you first start on this page and you want to create a new section, just click this plus, or like I said before, I think you can also add templates in. But what we're going to do is create it from scratch so that you learn how to manipulate all the different elements and make it look how you want it. So let's click this plus and sorry, moving a little fast. The plus, and then you have all these options for the column. So there's a number of ways to do this. If you know you're going to have 2 columns or 3, you can do that, and then you can shift the column widths and adjust that. Let's start with the main, just big block. Okay, so we have that here, and this is what every section starts out looking like. And so what we know is that we're going to want this to basically fill the screen. So under height, you can either say fit to screen or do a min height. I like to do min height, and then it gives you these options. So this is the minimum height. And you have pixels, you have, I believe this is viewport height and viewport width. So I like to do viewport height on here and just say something like 95. So I can kind of play around with it, and I have more control on it rather than going straight to fit to screen, which can sometimes not be the best option. But with viewport height, I can change that depending on what device. So you can actually change what they call responsive styles. So you can see this, maybe I want to shrink this down after I look at it on a tablet. But for now, we'll just design desktop. That's generally what I do. There is designers that go mobile first just because nowadays there actually is probably more people accessing your website via their phones rather than a desktop computer. So that's why they do it. I like to start big and go small. I think it's just preference, really. So right now we can see we have the minimum height. I have it set to 87. there is a little bit of things that I've read about where if you show a little hint of content below, it shows the people that they need to scroll down. So you can or can't do that. It's just kind of a preference, but you can kind of hint at more content so that people know to scroll, or you can add a little arrow or something, down at the bottom. So, all right, so we have this white ginormous section here, and what we're gonna do is add a photo, and this is something I wanted to talk about as well. Is you don't just want to go type in Google, photos of Leon and then just steal whatever image. Obviously, there's copyrights on images, and if you're a photographer, you wouldn't want to see your work on somebody else's website without your consent. So just so you know, there are two that I like to use that are 100% free. You can search. There's a huge database now of images from people that are offering their photos for free. And also, if you do want a paid option, there's like iStock Photo, Adobe Stock, and they're not that bad. You can get an image for $10 to $15. So if there's a specific image you want, then that's a good route. But for these, these are the two sites. So you got Pexels and you have Unsplash, and they, like I said, they have a ton of options. And so, obviously your main hero section, they call it hero section for a reason. It's the first thing somebody sees if they type in your main URL. And so you want to put your best foot forward. And so there's a lot of things you have to think about it that comes back to what is the main number one thing that you want to speak to your target audience. Who is your target audience? And what do you want to say to them? And so, say, and I think, within YWAM, if we're talking about youth with a mission, if this is the base, you could pick a number of values that you want to focus on. My advice would be, stay authentic to your vision, what God has called you to, and gear that in a way to communicate directly to the viewer, and think about who that is. As you select these things and use words and pick out your fonts and that sort of thing, that will help you, I think, speak or communicate with integrity, which is, YWAM value number 18. Okay, so say like one of the main things that this base wants to kind of show is like this heart for adventure, like, that's in all of us. We want to, go on an adventure. We want to explore. So let's just type in, for example, explore. And already you're seeing some pretty cool images pop up. Like this is kind of like a cool above shot. You have this guy in the clouds. I feel like I've seen that one everywhere around the web. That's a cool one. So the main thing is just, trying to pick one and then seeing if it works. So this one kind of caught my eye. Well, you know what? Yeah, we'll try and work with that one. It's kind of white, so that was my main concern is like, okay, how I'm going to place text over this. So how can I do that? So you just basically click here, free download. You don't have to link back to the photo, but you can if you want to credit them. Okay, so now I think, did it download for me? It may not be downloading. Let's see. We may have to use a filler one because my internet is slow. Okay. So what I'm going to do, oops, that's the header. Here we are. Is just find a photo that I have and use it for now, and then we can adjust it later. So, yeah. Oh, there it goes. Never mind. It's coming slowly. So the way that you're going to add a photo is it's a background image. So under style, so we're still under this section, and we're going to go to style. And then you have these options for the background and other things as well, borders, typography. We're gonna click classic. And you can just add a solid color if you want, or you can add an image. We only have one image right now, but now we have this image. It's probably too big. I'm gonna pop it on my desktop. So whoops, you can see the size. This is another thing that is kind of, can be a little complicated for people who don't deal with images, but you can see the dimensions are 3,000 pixels. I mean, this is huge. In web design, you probably don't need anything wider than 1,600 pixels. And then it's just a matter of how high you want it. So if that's what I'm gonna shift it to is 1,600, I think, maybe 1,400, I can't remember. I have an automated thing, which I can actually send to you if you want it. And it's just, I drop an image on it and it does this little magic thing. And now if I look at the image size, okay, so I must do 1,600 width, yeah. So 1,600 pixels, that's definitely good enough. And if you want to rename these, you know, Google can search images as well. So if you're thinking about search engine optimization, you know, I could say Adventure, DTS, YWAM, Leon, Spain, something like that. And so Google can crawl that, and hopefully, you know, you get students that way, right? All right, so we're uploading the image. Okay, we got it. Just hit insert. There it is. So you'll notice it's just taking like this little section of it. And so what we need to do is think about the position. So we'll do center, center. So it's pulling it right to the center of the image. And then, so attachment, you can actually do fixed so that when you scroll, see it's staying there, which is kind of cool. But we'll just keep that default. Repeat, you don't really have to change. Cover will basically fill the entire section. So that's what that does. Fills the entire section. So there's no like blank spaces. If I go contain, it'll basically find the tallest width according to the height or width of the container of the section and display that. So we don't want that. We want cover. That's 99%, if not 100%. I always do cover as far as this kind of application. There's a lot of effects you can do. I would think through them very carefully. You can really, with Elementor, you can make things fly all over the place. Do it sparingly, do it minimally. If you're trying to highlight something, and there's an effect that really does that well, then use it, but use it sparingly. Okay, so we have this image, but if we put text over it, let's just do a text, you can see, and then center the text. Obviously, you're not going to see it very well, even with a black text on a lighter image. And so, there's a number of solutions to this problem. You can put a background around this area. The one I like, which kind of helps, add some of the brand colors, is do a background overlay. So say we did, let's start with a solid color and just do one of these colors maybe. We'll see. For now, we'll just do that. So I threw the color on, but you can still see the image, and that's because they automatically put a 0.5 opacity. I am just going to play around a bit with this, and that's what you can do as well when you're creating these things. So we'll just leave it like that. A little more orangey, I guess. And then the text, I'll click on this again. So if you're editing one element, like right now, we're editing the section, and we want to edit the text, we would just click this little pencil icon. And when you get a lot of elements on the page, it can get a little hairy, but for now, I think we're good. So, maybe we can say something like, go on an adventure with God. or come on an adventure with God, because it's joining us on that adventure. So we got that, and then I'll just make this white. Yeah, it's looking okay. I might change that background color, but for now you can kind of see how this works. Okay, and now let's say we want to add a button. So under the widgets, so if you want to get to the widgets from any element, say we're editing this element, just click this 9 square button thing. Okay, and now we just add a button. All right, the button is obviously aligned to the left, and we need to go center. So let's see. And what do we want to say on this button? We want to maybe link it to the next section and say something like, come on an adventure with God. Let's go. Kind of vague, but we'll just go with that for now. And then I'm going to link it to, I'll say, vision section, because that'll be the next section. Okay, so we have that. The button is not quite the greatest right now, so we want to link to a new section, but we don't have a new section for this button. So we'll just add a new section here. There we go. Here's our new section. And what I'm going to do is go to Advanced and add an ID. And this will be Vision, I think I said. Let's double check that. So I'll just name this Vision, this section here. Oh, yeah, that's right, because it's trying to go there. Let me just right now put a height fit to screen. So watch when you click this button. Boop, brings you to the next section. And so when you do that, so what you're going to do on the actual button link, you need a hashtag. But on the section, you just need to have the word, and that'll link to the next section. And it already has a built-in sort of like smooth scroll, because back in the day, if you did that, it would just like blink to the next section, you know, really abruptly. So now it's nice. Elementor has a built-in sort of smooth scroll. Unfortunately, you can't really adjust the speed of that, but that's okay. It's good. It's, you know, you don't really have to worry about that. So here we go. We got our, we have our hero section ready. We got our button, we got our image, and our tagline. So next, we'll just continue down the home page and just kind of talk about different styling elements and different ways that you can present your content in an engaging way. So yeah, thanks again for watching the video and learning. I hope you learned some things, and I'll see you in a bit.